Hey folks, how are you? We are live. It is Global Tarot Circle time again. Today's date is June 26, 2018. It is now 1 minute before 7. Oh, it is just 7 o'clock now. Okay. And so we'll start to see people coming in. Let me start by letting you know some of what we're going to be doing over the next hour. And if you are watching the replay, watching us in archive, on YouTube or here on Facebook, please do play along. Please do watch. We love to have you watch. Just recognize that if we're not live, we're not going to be able to read for you and we're not going to be able to answer your questions. So, what's going to happen today? Well, I see people coming into the room. I see Leisha is here. So glad you're here. And as people come in, I see we've got about 5 people watching already. If you're here, go ahead and chat in. We use the chat thread, the comment thread like a chat room. Here's Lori Hahn, my good friend from Florida. Glad you're here. Go ahead, chat in. Let us know where in the world you are. Let us know what deck you're working with. And we always spend the first half hour of our time together with burning questions. So, a burning question can be the sort of question that you would ask a room full of tarot readers, something you'd like to know about your own life. If you'd like us to read for you, go ahead and ask the question. We'll get to as many readings as we can tonight. If you have a question about tarot, about how to do a tarot reading, or about a card you've gotten and don't understand, that's a burning question too. You can go ahead and ask that as well. So to start, go ahead and chat in. Let us know where in the world you are. Let us know your name and let us know what your burning question is, and we'll get started with some readings. While we're waiting for that, let me do a little shameless self-promotion. Some of you have been following me on Instagram and on Facebook and have seen me getting chairs and tables and doing all of this stuff. What's going on? Well, I have opened my conference room. The third room in my office, which has been heretofore the storage room, the big storage room, is now the conference room. That means we're going to be doing a lot of events here. And so those of you in the greater area around Palm City, West Palm Beach, all of that, I'll look forward to seeing you at classes and events here. But those of you who are online, don't worry. This is part of my step to offer a very comprehensive course schedule of online courses as well. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm really happy to share that with you. Okay. And hey, finally, David Victor, after months of trying, technology is a funny thing. After months of trying, David's here, is able to comment. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for continuing to try. Okay, so let's see. Leisha is here with a question. And we see Tara is here from Lexington, Kentucky. So glad you're here. Kristen is here. And Kristen, I believe, is right in West Palm Beach. So I hope to see you in my conference room. And those of you who are in the greater West Palm Beach area, let me let you know, too, that this coming Thursday, day after tomorrow, I am teaching a class at Dream Angels in DeQuesta. And that is Tarot and the 4 Elements. So if you haven't signed up for that, please do. Hey, here's Kim Bonk, my friend from Lutz. Glad you're here. And Camille, glad you're here. So many good friends. Hey, Stephen Bright, all the way from the UK. It must be late at night for you. He's watching from bed and he's working with his Barbara Walker tarot. That is a deck I have never been able to master. I have to tell you that. But since Stephen is here, let me do the shameless plug for Stephen. If you have not met Stephen, if you have not seen his work, he is the artist behind Spirit Within Tarot, one of the best new decks in the past couple of years. So make sure you get your hands on that. He is also my cover artist for my book, Fortune Stellar. So get your hands on that as well. All right, let's see. Tabitha is here. Hey, Tabitha, guess what I got today? In the mail today, Tabitha Dial's new book. Fabulous, fabulous. So glad this is here. Tabitha is a tea leaf reader. If you want to be a tea leaf reader as well, all you need is this book. Okay, very good. And Bo from Massachusetts is here. Very good to see you. Glad you're here. Okay, let's get started with questions. So, and those of you who are just coming in, if you haven't heard the instructions, go ahead and comment in with your name, where in the world you are. Let us know what deck you're working with if you like. And if you have any burning questions. Hey, Cheryl, I'm glad you're here. Saw you at Panera just on Sunday. So, and I'm hoping to see you at Dream Angels on Thursday as well. So what we do for our first half hour is we do burning questions. If you have a question about tarot, or if you have a question for a tarot reading, you go ahead and ask it and we'll all answer. So let's start with a reading. So I hope all of you have your cards with you. Go ahead and get shuffled. Let's see what we got going on. Alicia from Connecticut. Okay, here's the question. I don't quite get the whole question here, though. So you know what, Alicia? I'm going to ask you to continue the question. The question, ran into a lady that I like. She has not kept in contact. I am guessing where that question's going. I'm guessing we want to know why not, if she is interested, what you can do. Go ahead and phrase a full question there, and we will absolutely answer it. Okay, let's see what else. We've got other questions coming in here, and so many people saying hi. I'm so glad you're all here. Oh, my good friend Lee is here. Glad you're here. Hey, you can see behind my head. You can see your collage is on my wall. Yeah. Okay. Okay, here's Michelle, working with the RWS from Alaska. So glad you're here. Hey, Amy is here, and Amy just got married. Amy and Ryan are now a married couple. I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, let's see what we've got going on. Patty Hooley is here. Anna is here from Ontario. Glad you're here. Hey, so both the Tate girls are here. Camille and Dominique, both here. So glad you're both here. That's so awesome. Okay, looking for these questions. Hey, let's start with Susie Zern. Okay, here's the question. Oh, and Leisha's come back with the rest of his questions, so we'll do him next. So, Susie's question. Can you tell me if I'm on track with my launch? So I'm assuming this is a business question. She's launching something, and we want to know if she's on track with it, what she needs to do to make sure her launch is successful. So anyone who wants to play along, go ahead and shuffle. What you're going to do, I'm going to pull one card and give a one-card reading to this question, and you're going to do the same. So, and we're going to be doing a lot of readings. So to keep things straight, if you want to read for Susie, put her name in, S-U-Z-I-E, the name of the card that you pulled for her, and your interpretation. Don't just share the card. You got to give your interpretation as well. So the name of the card, and the interpretation. That way we can keep it all straight. And now we've got a lot of people here. I'm so glad you're all here. But what that means is I may not be able to acknowledge each of you by name, but please know I do see you going by, and I'm so glad that you're here. And the other thing is I'm not going to be able to read every reading that we do. So if we're reading for you, make sure you scroll through the comments to get all of your readings, and make sure you chat back to let us know what you think of your readings. So, Susie, on track for your launch. What do you need to know about your launch? 7 of Swords reversed. You know, what I think, Susie, the one thing you're not on track for is trusting yourself. Trust yourself. Trust your process. I think you're fine. Irene is here, and she's pulling for Susie as well. 5 of Cups. Focus on a positive outcome and let go of the past. Very good. Very good. Okay. So now let's go back to Leisha's question. He's met a lady he likes, but she's not communicating with him. Why not? Why is this woman not communicating with Leisha? So if you'd like to answer Leisha's question, Just put his name, Leisha, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What's up with this girl? Is she interested? Is she not interested? Why isn't she communicating? Let's see what we got going on. The Hanged Man reversed. It may be that she is very much in control of her own life and fears having a man come in and try to control her. I don't know if she got the sense that you yourself would be controlling, or if she's just afraid of men in that way. But that's what I get. Let's see what other people have to say. Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right. Okay. And from Bo, and Bo herself is a professional reader in Massachusetts. And her burning question, okay, so this is a teachable moment. This is a mediumship reading. And I believe that we can easily do mediumship with tarot. And this has an even greater twist because it's mediumship for an animal. Now, I really believe we can read for our pets in spirit just as we can read for our loved ones in spirit. So let's give it a try. Bo had a sad loss. Her dog, Snoopy, passed away on Saturday. We are so sorry for your loss. But she wants to know, how's Snoopy doing? What does Snoopy have to say? So if you would like to read for Bo, go ahead and put her name, Bo, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. The question is, how's Snoopy doing on the other side? Or what is a message from Snoopy? Okay, 6 of Wands. So, Bo, what I get with this is that Snoopy saying, I made it to the other side and I'm good. Everything is fine. I'm all good. And I know that, with pet owners, so often we feel when an animal dies, we feel so much responsibility, so much guilt. Did we do the right thing? Did we do everything we could? The 6 of Wands really says that everything is fine. You did everything you could. Snoopy is fine. Everything is fine. Hey, my friend Michael Wells is here, also a pro reader. Glad you're here as well. And I see a question there. We'll get to that as well. Shami wants to know if she has to be a tarot reader. Heck no. So glad you're here. You can even ask a question. Absolutely. Okay. So Tabitha, recent published author Tabitha, who also has a straight job selling cheese. What a great career. She reads tea leaves, she reads tarot, she writes poetry, and she sells cheese. That's like the most well-rounded, I love that. Okay. Tabitha's have a promotion, a new location in town, new people. How's that going to look, please? Now, I'm thinking this is a promotion for your psychic business rather than your cheese business. That's what I'm thinking. And so if you'd like to read for Tabitha, how's this new location going to work out for her? Go ahead and put her name, Tabitha, the card you got, and your interpretation. How's the new location going to work out? Oh, interesting. This is the second time it is cheese. It's a cheese location. Okay. Not that I think that really matters. But it's always nice to know the backstory. And with Tabitha, it could be cheese, poetry, tarot, tea. It could be a lot of different things. Okay. So this is the second time now tonight. And I did shuffle. You guys saw me shuffle. This is the second time I've gotten the 7 of Swords reversed. So this says to me it's going to be a fine location. I'm not worried about it. And if there are some things you're worried about, missed communications or things of that nature, I think it's going to be fine. I really do. So again, if we're reading for you, make sure you scroll and read the comments so you can see all the readings and make sure you respond. I see lots of readings happening here. Okay, let's see. Kimberly. So, Kim Bonk, my good friend from Lutz, wants to know if she's being sabotaged career-wise. Now, Kim has this awesome career. She is a tennis official. And you can see like if you watch tennis on TV, sometimes you can see my friend Kim right there. But right now, she wants to know, and she's also a tarot reader. She just did a reading for Tabitha right there. Right now, she wants to know if someone is sabotaging her career-wise. So, if you'd like to do a reading for Kim, go ahead and say her name, Kimberly, the card you got, and your interpretation. Is Kimberly being sabotaged in her career? Man, again I shuffled and again I got a similar card. So, the universe is teaching us here, recognizing that different cards mean different things in different readings. But here for Kim, I have the Six of Wands, which I think is particularly special given this is the card of sportsmanship. It is the card of competition, and you are a sports official. So you know what? Even if someone is trying to sabotage you, it does not matter, for you will not be sabotaged. You will win. You will rise to the top. You will be fine. Now, that didn't answer the question. It's very possible someone's trying to sabotage you. And Serena, hey, Serena, nice to see you here. I just dropped a card. Okay, but it did not land face up, so I don't have to read it. Serena got the moon, so that does kind of say to me that there could be a saboteur, but we don't see it as a problem. Okay, and Tabitha is clarifying what her question is. This is a potential promotion for her at this new location. I think my reading stands. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be fine. Okay, let's see. Lots of readings going on. Make sure you check in to the chat area to see your readings. Okay, Tequila. Tequila wants to know if she's going to become pregnant soon. So I assume you know what you have to do to get pregnant, right? So let's see if that's going to work. If you would like to read for Tequila about this, you can just write her name, Taquila, the card you got, and your interpretation. Do we see a pregnancy soon? Ooh, High Priestess. This is very interesting because the High Priestess speaks to fertility. It does suggest that you are fertile, that you are able to have a baby, but the High Priestess does not predict pregnancy. And so it may be that your partner has an issue here. It may be that you have to make sure to be careful about the timing. It may be that there may not be time for the two of you to spend together for a little while. So I do feel like you're capable, but this card right now does not predict pregnancy and suggests that you look. The High Priestess is also about secrets. It's about what is hidden. So it suggests that you really look at what are some of the factors here. If you're not getting pregnant as quickly as you would like, obviously you can talk with your doctor. And this would say look for hidden causes. Okay, let's see. Morgan, hey, glad you're here. Should my relationship be stored or left behind? If so, how? So, now that's a wide question for, really what we're doing is single card readings, but, approach it however you want to. We're looking at a relationship that is now over. We're looking at potential. Should it get back together? Should it not? If it gets back together, how would that work? Get whatever information you can from your one card reading for Morgan. Go ahead and write Morgan's name, the name of the card, and your interpretation, and let's see what we get here. Okay, I got Six of Cups reversed, which says to me you may feel a real pull to put this together again because of the history you share and because of the energy between the two of you. But I would say because of the reversal, it is not advised. That's my thought. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? Lots of readings. Hey, Anna's here. Glad you're here. Okay, Patty Griffin Hooley. going from Texas to Florida. And so now Patty and her husband, Mark, these are my good friends, who we met in Florida. They've been living in this wonderful RV and traveling all over the place for a long time. And they have actually now bought property in Florida, in Sarasota, near, I think, some people who are here. That would make you maybe neighbors nearby, maybe Michael Wells, for instance. And I'm so happy about this. The question is, how will the transition go from Texas to Florida? So if you'd like to read for Patty, go ahead and put her name, the card you got, and your interpretation. How will the transition to Florida go for Patty and her husband? Again, this has happened. You saw me shuffle. This is the third time I've gotten the same card for two different people. Once again, the High Priestess. To me, though, for you, Patty, in this context, you know, while the High Priestess does not predict a pregnancy, it does predict a smooth transition. It will go perfectly. I feel great about it. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, hey, Uma Elizabeth. She and I did a gig together about a month and a half ago. So great to see you here. Okay, hey, this is a great question from Shammy. Shamra, Shamra, is my angel baby doing okay? So Shamra is a stepmom. She is also a physical mom. She has had a baby, so she has stepchildren. She's had a baby she's given birth to, and she also has a baby in spirit. And the baby in spirit was not born. And so the question, the baby has been named Zara. And Shammy keeps getting a gut feeling that Zara was female. And so Shammy wants to know this child that manifested within her but was never born. How is this child now? And do you get a feeling on the gender of this child? So let's take a look. If you'd like to read for Shamra, Shamra, Shamra is her name. Then the card you got, then your interpretation. And Shammy, just make sure you scroll through to get your readings. There are a lot of people giving readings here today. So make sure, if we're reading for you, make sure you go through and get all that information. So, Shammy, wow. 10 of Swords reversed. You know, this doesn't so much speak to the gender of the child or even how the child is now. It speaks to the fact that even though you have since then had a successful pregnancy, have a healthy child, all of that, who I know you love, and I see pictures on Facebook, and I love following the stories of your family, there is a part of you that is still hurt and devastated regarding this loss. I'm hoping some of the cards that come up for other people will give you a sense of what's up with the spirit of the child now and even the child's original gender. But this, to me, speaks of a different question. And it is true that tarot will answer not necessarily the question you asked, but the question the universe thinks you need to have answered. And this really speaks to your pain. What this says is, you know, God, the universe, the angels, everyone understands how painful this was for you. That pain has not gotten in the way of your ability to be a great mom, but it is still weighing you down. There is so much here that says that somehow you have to find a greater level of peace with what has happened here. Recognizing, you know, what do they say? God moves in mysterious ways. We cannot always understand the reason that these things happen. But the sorrow is still with you. And this really speaks to a need to find healing there. You know, I think that you will always remember this child and you will always keep this child in your heart. I believe that spiritually this child is a guardian to you. Also feels female to me, I have to say. And I believe is a guardian to her brother, to the son that you had. I believe the child will guard the brother as well. That's not specifically from the cards, obviously. It's just what I get. And there are readings going on here, so please do keep reading. Okay. Let's see what we got here. And, we will continue to do readings for another 5 minutes or so. And just remember, folks, I'm seeing some readings without names. Totally unhelpful. If you're reading for someone, you have to put the name. We've got like 10 readings going on here. So I really appreciate everyone participating, but make sure you put the name of the person it's for. Okay. Lots of good readings here. And, okay, hey, Jennifer Page, my good friend in the Houston area. Glad you're here. Jennifer wants to know if she's going to get hired permanently soon. She's been at a job but has not been taken on permanently. Will she get that job permanently? If you'd like to read for her, her name is Jennifer. Then put the name of the card. Then put your interpretation. Will Jennifer get hired permanently soon? Ooh, 5 of Wands. It could go either way. There could be some conflict here, and it may not be about you. It may be stuff going on in the company that has nothing to do with you, but it could take some time. It could take some time. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. Bo, here's the deal. Bo is apologizing for not contributing, and Shami was wondering if she could ask for a reading since she doesn't herself read or doesn't have cards with her or whatever. Because I know, Shami, you played with tea and tarot for a while. You got some stuff going on there. I know you do. Yes, you don't have to give readings to get readings. Not at all. We try to get to as many people as we can, and Bo's apologized for not doing a lot of readings because she's really in her space with Snoopy. And that's fine. We're so glad you're here. Okay. So, Uma Elizabeth, what energy should I work with to expand creatively? Now, Uma does a bunch of stuff. She's a tarot reader. She's a model. She's a dancer. She's a performer. She does so many things. And they're all creative. So, what energy should I work with to expand creatively? If you'd like to read for Uma, go ahead and put her name. Uma, U-M-A, the cards you got, and the answer to the question, the interpretation. What should Uma do? What energy should she work with to expand creatively? It's not the energy you should work with, it's the energy you should release. You should look at where anxiety plays a role in your life, and you should release that to allow yourself more creativity. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, from Sarah Miguel. Hey, Christiana, I got some crazy decisions coming up very soon, and I'm wondering if I should move across the country or stay put where I am. So confused. Okay, so if you'd like to read for Sarah, S-A-R-A, she's a Sarah without an H. Should Sarah move across the country? Or should she stay put? Go ahead, her name, the name of the card, and your interpretation. What should Sarah do? Ace of Wands. Girl, if you want to go, go. Seriously. Okay. Let's see, David. When will I find a woman who wants to be with me? Meeting a lot of friends. I need someone who is there. Okay, if you'd like to read for David, he wants to know when he'll find an actual woman who wants to be with him romantically, not a friend, not someone in the friend zone, an actual partner. Okay, let's see. So if you'd like to read for David, just put his name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. And again, there's a lot of great readings going on here. Thank you everyone for participating. If we're reading for you, make sure you scroll through. And I see a lot of people receiving readings who are giving information and are being thankful for their readings. I saw Shami very appreciative, saying she's in tears. I saw Uma saying it was right on. So I really appreciate everyone doing this. That is fabulous. Okay, David, your love life. Let's see what we got for you. Ooh, David. 10 of Pentacles reversed. This is going to get deep real quick. I feel like the reason you're having a hard time attracting someone has to do with energy that you're holding on within yourself. Maybe a poor relationship in the past. Maybe something you grew up believing about relationships. Maybe the relationship modeling you had when you were growing up wasn't conducive to what you're looking for. But the reason you're having a hard time finding someone is because you're carrying some negative energy around relationship. Some belief that you'll not find someone, some belief that relationships never work. I don't know what it is. You need to look within yourself and figure out, what have you been telling yourself, or what have others told you, or what have you learned about relationships that you may be carrying either consciously or subconsciously that doesn't serve you. Release that and we'll turn that right side up and you will find the person who's right for you. But I think that release is what needs to happen first. Okay, very good. Hey, Kimberly Essex is here. Glad you're here. I see you busy doing readings. That's fabulous. Let's see. What do we got here? Okay, hey, Irene. Irene is also a professional reader. And Irene just has the question, what does Spirit want me to know? So that's always a good question, and it's a good way in to learning how to do general readings. You know, people who are afraid of general readings. In fact, shameless self-promotion that I haven't even started promoting, I'm going to be doing Guardian Gateways Tarot Telesummit in July, and my topic is general readings. So I hope you participate in that. Hey, Joanne Matthews here. I'm so glad you're here. A way to get into general readings is to recognize that every general reading has the question, what does Spirit want me to know? So for Irene, if you'd like to give this a try for Irene, just put her name, the name of the card, and your interpretation. What does Spirit want Irene to know? Again, with the same card. I got this card for Uma. It was right on for her. And it's also still reversed. Spirit wants you to know that you think too much, Irene. Spirit wants you to know that you're too anxious, that you're too caught in your own thoughts. Get out of your own thoughts and you'll be much happier. Okay, hey, Kelly. Okay, now we're winding down readings. We'll get to as many as we can. We'll continue to read for a few more moments, but we are winding down. Okay, and if you're still doing readings for people, please still continue to do so. Okay, Kelly. Kelly is planning to move from Massachusetts back to Florida 2 months before my second child is due. Is this a wise decision? Well, Florida will certainly welcome you. Okay, so if you'd like to read for Kelly, the name, Kelly, the card, and your interpretation, is it wise for Kelly to move back to Florida while she's pregnant? Death reversed. So we could look at this a couple of different ways. We could look at it and say, no, it's not wise to make any change at all, but you've already made the plan. And so when I look at death reversed as an answer to this, I would say, go ahead as planned. Make no changes to your plan. You're going to be fine. You know what's going on. And the other thing is it's back to Florida. So it may be that you're going to feel very comfortable, very right at home very quickly. Okay. Let's see. Oh, someone else Stephen Bright got the High Priestess for Tequila as well as I did. That's so interesting. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Michael. My friend Michael Wells. wants to know about his financial situation. So I can give you some background on this. Michael is a full-time professional reader, but like many full-time professional readers, he became a full-time professional reader when he got laid off from his job. And so he's very used to having reading as a side hustle and having that regular paycheck. But Spirit has been pushing him for years to do this work full time. And now that's what he's doing. So how's Michael gonna be financially? Go ahead, his name, the name of the card, and your interpretation for Michael. Three of Pentacles reversed. You have to stop hanging on to that idea of the paycheck. Let me give you something from my own sort of book of wisdom here. You know, people become very uncomfortable with this kind of a gig because there is no regular paycheck. So here's what I say. I say, God, I'm so glad I don't have a regular paycheck. Because with a regular paycheck, I know exactly how much money I'm going to have. With this gig, I could always have more. Stop feeling like that solid regular paycheck was a benefit and start thinking about it as the handcuffs that it is, and that your job now gives you the opportunity to make an infinite amount. So I think you have to still work on your mindset. Okay, let's see what we got going on. Okay, Anna. So Anna's 3-year-old dog, Misty, has been limping on and off from the same paw. I've taken her to the vet twice, and she barely limps when she's there. Oh, no, I hate it when that happens. The vet is on a wait-and-see strategy. My question, does Misty need intervention or not? Okay, so another reading for a dog. And it is so great to see my friend Lee Kenyon here doing readings. I have to tell you, Lee is one of my oldest, dearest friends in the world. We were best friends when we were 13. And we both got into tarot in different ways over different times. And here she is. So how great is that? Okay, Anna, the question is, does Misty the dog need some kind of intervention for her paw right now, or is wait and see okay? So if you'd like to read for Anna, go ahead and put her name, the name of the card, and your interpretation. And let's see what we got. Six of Swords. Six of Swords. So this is an interesting thing because Aleister Crowley called this card the card of science, which to me would suggest the need for intervention. However, if we think about the typical meaning of this card, typically it suggests that we are moving forward okay, that it's okay. So I'm thinking wait and see is all right. I think it's all right. So we're coming to the end. I know a couple of people, we're not coming to the end of our time. We're going to do a training session in just a moment. But we're coming to the end of our reading time. And I know a few people have asked more than one question. We may not have time to get to that today, and I do apologize. But we will be back here in a month so we can do it again. If you're still reading for people, go ahead and keep going. And let's see what we got going on here. Okay, I'm looking for one more question that grabs me. And it's going to be someone who hasn't already asked a question. So which one will we do? And let's see what we got here. I saw someone wondering about getting back with the ex, and I can't find it. It's driving me nuts. There's a lot of people here who are really enjoying this process, enjoying giving readings and enjoying getting the readings. So I really appreciate all of you folks being here. And here it is. Lisa, this is going to be our final one. And someone helped me with that. That was Lee. Yes, thank you. Thank you, you guys. It's kind of crazy trying to get through all of the comments and still stay focused on talking to you. So I really appreciate your help. Okay, last question for our session, and then we will get into our tarot teaching for our final 20 minutes. Should Lisa get back together with her ex? That's the question. Okay, if anyone would like to read on this, Lisa, the name of the card, and the answer, should Lisa get back together with her ex? Two of Pentacles reversed, I say hell no. Not that this is a terribly negative card, but it does suggest that in your time together, you used every resource, everything you know, everything you can possibly do to try to make it work. It didn't work. Don't go back, in my opinion. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for reading and being part of that. Now let's move forward. Those of you who are readers, either professionally or not, those of you who are interested in the cards, you are all going to find this topic very interesting. The topic is self-reading. I know many of you have heard that you should not read for yourself. I think that's ridiculous. I think that if you can't read for yourself, you shouldn't read for anyone else. So I'd like to ask you now to sort of chat in with your concept of self-reading. Do you read for yourself? Is it easy to read for yourself? Is it hard to read for yourself? What's the problem? What techniques do you know that help you with your self-reading? And at our tarot meetup on Sunday, what we all discovered is that we don't take our self-readings as seriously as we take our readings for others. When we read for others, we take time to connect and to focus and to think about our questions and to really interpret the cards. When we read for ourselves, we're like casual. We're like, oh, what's this? Oh, and we don't really put the time and energy into it. And so we all made a commitment that we were going to create rituals of self-reading. Rituals for grounding, for invoking, for taking our cards seriously, and for doing our own interpretation. Because so often, if you know the card well, you'll just pull the card and say, yeah, okay, I know that, without really thinking about it. So we all made the commitment to create these rituals of self-reading. And I'd like you all to make that commitment too. Do you have rituals of self-reading? What are they? Go ahead and chat in. And here's Joanne. Joanne, my good friend in Connecticut. Joanne says, I take my self-readings too seriously. I don't do it very often anymore because I'm too aware of the circumstances. Okay, so let's take a look. Let me share some, hey, Diane Ryan, nice to see you. Let's share some information about self-reading. And here's Tracy, glad to see you. Tracy says, exactly, I always read for myself. How else can you learn? I've never had trouble reading for myself, but then I never expected to in the first place. It was only years later that I heard you shouldn't. There you go. And here's Shannon, nice to see you. Shannon says, I read for myself. I try to take the same time I would with a client. Part of that is journaling the reading. Now that's great advice. As part of your ritual to write the reading down, then you really have to do the interpretation. You know, because so often you don't get into it until you think about it, until you say the name of the card, until you really look at the picture. And when we do it for ourselves, we don't always do it. Now Karen says, I'm concerned I'm only going to see what I want to see instead of what is really there. And, you know, I think in a way, Joanne was echoing the same thing. You know, I take it so seriously, you know, am I going to give myself a good reading? Joanne says, I think my emotions influence my self-readings, whereas reading for others, I'm very impartial. And David just said the sense of community here is fantastic. Hey, thank you so much. And thank you guys all for being part of that community. Okay, so how to stay objective in self-reading. Here's my argument. I really believe that we need to learn to be objective in self-reading because, yes, it's easier to be impartial when you're reading for someone else, but you know what? Even then, no one likes to give anyone bad news. I think we always need, when we go to the cards, whether we're reading for ourselves or reading for anyone else, we always need to stay in a place of compassionate detachment, or what they call spiritual neutral. Now, how do we do that? How do we get out of our own way? You know, I think there's a tendency, if we happen to be pessimistic people, we'll interpret everything really negatively. If we happen to be optimistic people, we may interpret things really positively because it's what we want to see. How do we get out of our own way? Here's what I say. Before you do the reading, do a meditation to ground yourself and connect yourself to spirit, and then take all of your anxieties, all of your desires, all of your concerns, and put them to the side. I literally picture putting it in a box and putting that box to the side. And you know, my Christian roots are going to show here, because I always think about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Gosh, I'm a minister's daughter. How can I not suddenly pronounce that word? But you know what I'm talking about. On Maundy Thursday, before crucifixion, Jesus is in the garden and he's praying. And he says, he knows what's coming. And he says, take this cup away from me. I would prefer not to drink from this cup. If that's what it has to be, that's what it will be, but I'd prefer not. And so I think it's okay before you do a reading to state your intention, to say, okay, God, universe, goddess, angels, however it is for you, this is what I would prefer. But, you know, what did Jesus do? He said, this is what I prefer, but I will accept God's will. And however you see that, you know, again, God, goddess, higher power, universe, whatever. I don't care what words you use here. But to say, okay, this is my preference, but I release my will to the universe. I believe that whatever happens in the long run will be for the greater good, whether it's what I want or not. And so it's being in a place of spiritual trust. Not necessarily trusting that you're going to get what you want, but trusting that the right thing will happen whether or not it's what you want. That is a great way to come to a place of just being open-minded. So, Lee is laughing at me. That's so funny about my inability to pronounce Gethsemane. There, I got it right. That's so funny. Okay, so let's see. We've got a lot of information here about self-reading from Diane Ryan. I pull a card in times of need and ask the angels to show me in the card the answer to what I'm asking. That's beautiful. To be prayerful, to ask for help with the interpretation. That way you're not interpreting from a place of fear or desire. You're asking the angels to help you with your interpretation. That is perfect. I love that. Okay, from Kimberly Essex. I read for 10 years before doing any real readings for myself. When I did read for myself, it just seemed to echo what I already knew. I found it helped to work with new decks. You know, that's very interesting. To work with a deck you're not familiar with, you may see things with new eyes, if that makes sense. I like that very much. Okay, hey, Dee Dunkley is here. Dee is a great tarot reader and a master astrologer, man. If you ever want a chart done, you should totally see Dee. Hey, Linda Rogers, I'm so glad you're here. I do read for myself from time to time, more daily readings than situation or circumstances. I used to journal it, but I seem to have become lazy. Yeah, I hear that. The cards can be so literal, too, as well as psychological. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Serena, sorry you had to go early. Glad you're here. Okay. So this is, Uma's talking about how I put stuff in a box. Here's her visualization. I like balling all my anxieties up, wrapping it in silicone, duct taping that ball of energy and passing it off to God. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. So here's a question from Sarah. When you read for yourself, are you influencing the cards based on your emotions and energy, or is the universe still guiding, or maybe both? Okay, here's the deal. You cannot influence which card comes up. Okay, you are not influencing which card comes up with your desires or your energy, but you could be influencing your interpretation. And that's where we are trying to get rid of our anxieties. We're trying to trust higher power, and we're asking higher power to help with the interpretation so that we can be in that place of spiritual neutral or compassionate detachment. And see, it's really hard, but here's the thing. The more that we learn to be in a place of compassionate detachment when we read for ourselves and read for others, the more we are able to stay in that place throughout our lives. And this is where I really believe that a good tarot practice can help us get rid of anxiety. Because, whenever you're in a place of fear and desire, you can also be in a place of anxiety. And if we can learn to just be detached from that, that's going to help us in life, without a doubt. Okay. Now, from Ashley, hey, glad you're here. My daily reading helps me be more flexible. Sometimes the cards and intuition deliver a traditional response. Sometimes a whole storyboard is created. And sometimes the answer lies in something as simple as a detail in the card. And little to do with the interpretation aside from the method of choosing the card. Joanne asks, what if it creates more anxiety? Well, see, that's the thing. And it's, this is a really interesting conversation because as a professional reader, I know you guys know that people who are in an anxious state of mind come to me to quell the anxiety. And as a reader, I can navigate the reading even if the cards give them the information that they didn't want. I can still use the cards to help them see how to handle it. So, if the answer you get gives you more anxiety, if the answer you get is something you didn't want, then you got to go to the cards and you got to say, okay, if this is coming, how am I going to handle this? What are my tools for handling this? So if you ever get an answer that you don't want for yourself or for someone else, you can always go back to the cards and you can say, okay, what can I do to avoid this? What can I do to mitigate this? If I can't avoid it or mitigate it, what tools do I have to help me through? And Joanne says she'll also keep drawing more cards to find an answer or a peace of mind. Now, sometimes when I do that, I'll get the Fool, which tells me to just, stop being foolish about this. And then sometimes I'll get the Four of Swords, which tells me to give it a rest. That's when I know I've come to the cards with too much anxiety. Okay. Anna says, yes, I read for myself. I like to write my interpretation as I go along. And I find that talking about me in the third person, oh, this is brilliant. I love this. When she reads for herself, she talks about herself in the third person. Let that sink in. That is beautiful. It helps her stay detached. My readings are helpful. When something big with lots at stake comes up, I like to ask a reader I trust, like me, yay, because not knowing the situation, it's easier to be objective. Corrine says that she looks at the positive and negative of each card, so to see the positive potential and the potential pitfalls. Hey, that's really good advice at any point. When you're reading, we all have these cards that we identify as positive or negative. And yes, we would all rather see the sun than the tower, of course. But as Corrine so wisely states, every card has a gift and a shadow. Every card has an up and a down. And no matter what, look at both when you're doing an interpretation. Linda says, I do ground and protection meditation when I read to and I connect to universal energy. I think that's really important. Really, really important. Dee says, excellent suggestion with the box. For reading myself, the good things always look much better to me than they really are, and the challenging things always look much worse. Right, so that's where detachment, becomes so very important. But I will also say, in my own practice, the scale of things, how good is good, how bad is bad. I think this can be hard for everyone. I don't think that's just you, Dee. I think that it's hard to know extremities. I've told a story before, and I'll tell it again, about a person who basically called me to say goodbye because he had gotten such a bad reading that morning that he was sure he was going to die that day. It turns out that what happened was his belt broke and he had to run out and buy a new belt. So the difference between the death of a belt and the death of himself was hard to figure out, so it just goes to show that this can be a thing. So let's see what else we got. From Ollie, did I pronounce that correctly? Glad you're here one way or the other. When I read for myself, I find if I say it aloud, as if I'm reading it for someone else, I can flow genuinely without filling in too many gaps of what I want it to mean. Yes, yes, yes. Say it out loud. Say the name of the card aloud. Say it aloud. And I think it was Anna said also, do it in the third person. I don't know if that was Anna or not. Anyway, whoever that was, thank you for that. Do it in the third person. That's perfect. Joanne says, I'm very attached to myself and my problems. It's hard to read into something different. I don't detach easily. And so, you guys know one of my best friends is a yoga instructor, Robin Brace at True Bikram Yoga, where I stay and do readings when I'm in Connecticut. And what she would always say, I'm quoting her here, is if you find it difficult, then it's the thing you need to work on doing. Whatever is hard, like in yoga, whatever posture is hard, that's the one you've got to work on. It's true in tarot too. Whatever part of it is most difficult, that's the part you really have to work on. Shannon says, I sometimes use a light and dark deck. Oh gosh, and I lost it. Sorry. Where was it? Oh, here it is. I sometimes use a light and dark deck at the same time to make sure I'm seeing the gifts and shadows. I would love if you would type in examples of what a light deck is versus a dark deck. Joanne says, maybe read about the problem and not as my problem to try to focus on the situation without it being personal. Yes, yes, yes. Depersonalizing the situation. That is exactly right. So as a final exercise, let us each pull one card for ourselves. Pull one card for yourself. The question is, what does the universe want me to know today? Go ahead and chat it in and really try to interpret it as clearly as you can. And now, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, we have a Facebook group called Global Tarot Circle. You can ask to join. And if you want, you can go ahead and continue this conversation there. If you want to continue to talk about self-reading and self-reading techniques, if you want to share your readings for yourself or the card that you get here or other cards that you get for yourself, go ahead and share it there. Okay, so David says, I always thought drawing additional cards was a cop-out. What are your thoughts? I think there are times when drawing additional cards really helps, where you really need more information, and there are other times it is a cop-out. So I would say it depends on the situation, like that old game Scruples. It's a depends thing. Okay. Shannon says Bohemian Gothic seems dark. Okay, let's do a final card, each for ourselves. I got, once again, the Four of Swords. And I was just telling you that this is the card that comes up to tell me to shut up, which is funny because I have to shut up in 2 minutes because we're going to be done. But what do I need to know for myself? What does the universe want me to know? I think the Four of Swords is coming up for me about finding better balance in my life. That I am very go, go, go in my work. I don't sleep, I don't eat, I just work. And this is really about finding balance, and I'm taking some steps in my business to find balance. So that's a fabulous thing. So, go ahead if you like and continue to share here. We'll be finished in 2 minutes, so if you want to hop over to the Global Tarot Circle group and share there, you absolutely can. I'll be going into a private reading in 15 minutes, so I won't necessarily be there to share with you, but share with each other. That's a fabulous thing. Let's just close with some shameless self-promotion. If you have a website an offer, something that you're doing that you'd like to share here. I know we have a lot of professionals. If you would like to share your product, your book, your readings, your website, anything at all, go ahead and drop it here. And that will stay here even when this is over. This gets shared everywhere. And, Ashley just said, see you at Northwest Tarot Symposium. So let me do that as my shameless self-promotion. Northwest Tarot Symposium happens at the beginning of March next year. It is a wonderful tarot convention, and the Monday after, we're doing a holdover day where you can pay a separate amount and spend the day with me, Jenna Matlin, and the conference organizers, Jay and Jadzia. We are all professional readers, and it is a day of professional tarot development. We are going to put you through your paces. We are going to teach you a lot. And we are going to help you if you are an aspiring tarot reader. If you are now a tarot professional, we're going to help you take it to the next level. So you can come to the symposium and stay for the day, or you can just come in for that day if you'd rather, but we would love to see you. Go to Northwest Tarot Symposium and register now. I can see that people are dropping their links. Please go ahead and do that, and let's all support each other. We are a community. Let's support each other together. And for my shameless self-promotion, I will also let you know that I am available for readings by phone, Skype, FaceTime, Messenger, and also here in my office in Palm City, Florida, and in Connecticut and New York City in September. I'll be coming back in September. And what else do I want to let you know? Be on the lookout for new online classes. And be on the lookout for the Spiritual Path of Tarot Telesummit coming up in July. And thank you all, folks, so much for being here. I really appreciate you all. You're from all over the world. We've got people here from Australia, from the UK, from all over the United States, from Canada. We really are a global community. If you're watching an archive, thank you so much for being here. And I will post a date for our next meeting on the Global Tarot Circle website and also on my website, ChristianaGaudet.com. I thank you all so much for being here. I will look forward to seeing you all soon. Have a great evening, but if you're in the UK, have a great day. Well, so if you're in Australia, have a great day. Wherever you are, have a good one. Thanks so much for being here.